Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Talking Terror. As always, I'm your host, Jacob Harper,
And I'm your co-host Ariane.
and today is a very special episode, but it's going to be a little bit different. As you may have seen on our social media pages, go follow our social media pages, by the way. Twitter at Talk Terror Pod. Shameless plug. Um, on our social media pages, we have said we're doing a franchise breakdown for the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Earlier a few weeks ago. We're recording this in September now because we've been like super late to recording this. But last month, Texas Chainsaw Massacre had its anniversary. It was released back in theaters, and I was like, "What the hell? We gotta break down this whole franchise." So we're gonna be talking about all 9 movies in the Chainsaw Massacre franchise, but we wanted to spare y'all the the pain of having to go through and listen to us talk about all of them in a straight line. So, what we're going to do is we're going to break this piece down, this franchise down into 4 episodes. And we're going to do 2 to 3 movies per episode. And yeah, so for today's episode, we're going to be breaking down the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre from 1974. Uh, and then we're also going to talk about Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 from 1986, I believe. Is that correct, Ari?
Yeah, that's right.
Hell yeah. I was going to be super embarrassed if I got that wrong. Um, cool. So, yeah. And we're going to be releasing these throughout the week. We're going to try to do one a day for the next week or so. So, y'all are always fed the Talking Terror Chainsaw Man. Y'all are eating well this week, I will say. That's our gift to you guys for us taking like a week and a half longer to film this episode because I was like struggling to rewatch not struggling, but it was like I was like, oh shit, now I have to sit down and watch Texas Chainsaw 3D. Then I was like, oh, now I have to sit down and watch Leatherface, and then we finally ended with the Netflix one the other night. Um, which that's for another episode. We'll get into that, but for now, the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Start us off, Ari.
Hell yes. So, it's a classic. It's awesome. It's amazing. And
Yeah,
honestly, I liked when I first watched it, like years ago. I honestly didn't really like it, surprisingly. And then rewatching it and thinking about it, I actually ended up liking it a whole lot more than the first time.
that's what we love to hear. Hell yeah. I had it's funny you mentioned that because I had a similar experience with the movie Psycho.
Really?
Yeah, I was talking to someone about that the other day and how I watched Psycho when I was like 10 or 11, something like that. Maybe a little bit younger. And I'd already seen Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Nightmare on Elm Street, all that. I had already seen all the really bloody Halloween, all the really bloody fun slashers. So going back and watching a movie from 1960 when they had so many of the the Hanes codes and you couldn't really show much violence and it was very just like implied and dramatic and held back, not held back, but like subdued and it was all off-screen violence. As a kid, I thought that was stupid. Uh, and I was such a smart ass. I was like, oh, it's in black and white. They don't even show the kills. What the hell? Like they show the kill for like 2 seconds. I didn't appreciate it when I was a kid, and then I went back and watched it as a teenager, and I was like, holy shit, this is one of the greatest movies ever made. So it's funny that you had the same the same realization with Chainsaw Massacre, which like, dude, for me, Chainsaw Massacre has always been one of the like not even one of the greatest horror film of all time for me. Being born and raised in Texas, it's like having your very own urban legend. Because I remember even when I was a kid, there were people who were like, "Oh yeah, Leatherface is real. Like he lives out in this whatever. He lives out in like I don't know, like Amarillo or something. I don't know. It was like, whatever middle of nowhere, Texas. Um, but yeah, it was just always cool to kind of have that in the back of your mind. Especially like, when I would go on road trips as a kid, we'd be driving through like the countryside of Texas because it's easy to forget how much of Texas. I mean, you and I both live here, and it's like we live in like these like big cities or like relatively big cities like near Dallas, Fort Worth, or
Yeah.
whatever. And I've been to Austin a handful of times, but it's so easy to forget that outside of the major cities, so much of Texas still looks like the 1970s and still looks like this movie.
It's
So
true.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, so like being on road trips as a kid, like just looking out I would like look out like the car window, and I'd be like, Leatherface could be in that house right there, and I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know it, and it's freaky. But yeah, the original is such a special film to me, and I wrote. God, how many notes do I have here? One, two. I have like 4 full pages of notes on it. Um, I'm such a nerd for this movie, you guys. This is my Roman Empire. This movie, I swear to God. Um, but I wonder what stood out to you with this movie. Was like you said you hadn't rewatched it in a long time. Like what stood out to you the most in this film?
Honestly, it was all of the foreshadowing for the group of teenagers. Like I felt like, with the art that is being displayed and they're just like looking at it, they're just like, what the fuck is that? And then just that reveal that the whole household was exactly all those like skeletal structures and stuff. I thought,
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny you mentioned the foreshadowing because when I was rewatching it this time around, I think a lot about pretty sure it was Pam who had the astrology magazine,
oh yeah.
and she was like reading like people's like zodiacs and was like, oh yeah, we're gonna have bad luck or we're gonna be seeing some really crazy shit that we won't believe. And then like an hour later, they're at that farmhouse filled with bones, and it's like, I love how Chainsaw Massacre feels so real and so grounded and like I remember when I was at my screening because I went back and saw the original on it when it played in theaters this past month, and they showed a teaser for the Chain Reactions documentary, and they're interviewing Patton Oswalt about it, and he said something to the extent of like the movie feels like you're watching a group of serial killers that found a camera and just started recording shit.
Yeah.
I just like the cinematography feels very, very documentary like, which adds to the kind of uneasiness about it all and the realism of it all. But I like how realistic it feels. But at the same time, there is an argument to be made that there are some supernatural forces at play with Chainsaw Massacre
Oh yeah.
because they lean so heavy, well, not so heavily, but they mention that Zodiac stuff. And there's even that like old man at the cemetery who's like given like a whole spiel about whatever, like how, oh, you're gonna die out there or something. Um, so it's like I could see the argument that Chainsaw Massacre is a supernatural film, even though I love how gritty and realistic and like scary real it is with its filmmaking techniques. But I did take notice of that on this rewatch, and I think it's a fun idea to play around with. Um, and also one thing I didn't know, I didn't notice growing up until I think someone had to point it out on Twitter that the hitchhiker, the mark on his face, I always thought that was dried blood. I always thought it was like they wiped blood across his face, and it was just kind of dried there because of the heat, and it's just kind of there. He just doesn't care. But it's like a birthmark, I think.
Yeah.
Which
It's
I think, yeah. What were you gonna say?
no, I was just agreeing. Yeah, it was a birthmark. At first I thought I was like, why the fuck would they let him into the car? This dude has blood on his face. That's crazy.
Dude, I'm sorry, I would never pick up a hitchhiker. I don't know, man. Maybe it's because I watched them at such a young age, but I can never fathom the idea of doing that. Like just like instant no. I don't know, man. I'm sorry. Maybe that makes me a shitty person, but that's just an instant no go for me.
That's
Um,
cool back then.
yeah, no, yeah, for real. But like, I do feel like this movie kind of put an end to that. This movie kind of made hitchhiking a little bit more of a taboo. Like, oh, you probably shouldn't pick that up or go do that. Um, what else do I have on my notes here? I did mention how the you know inciting incident of the story, when you really take it back far enough, is uh Sally's going to visit her grandfather's grave to make sure it wasn't like robbed or defaced or anything. But she's with all of her friends. And I was like, maybe I missed something, but like the idea of taking all your friends to be like, hey, do you guys all want to go see my grandfather's grave? What an odd request. What an odd road trip with your friends. I'm not knocking it, but honestly, I wouldn't. I don't know if I'd be like, oh, I have to go check on my grandfather's grave. Do all my friends want to come with? Maybe make a fun trip out of it. I don't know. That was always. The more I think about it, the more I'm like, that's fucking weird for them to do that. But whatever gets us our movie doesn't matter as long as we get a movie, man. And we were talking about the hitchhiker. I made a note here. I like how Nubbins, the hitchhiker, is the he's sort of an artist.
Oh yeah, he
You
is.
know, he's just a very happy artist, I guess. I don't know. He takes a lot of pride in his work because he has the photos. It's revealed that he was the one doing all the grave robbing and the mutilating of the bodies. Uh, and that kind of points me in the direction of he was the one doing all the bone art
Oh,
in
that
the
makes.
house. Yeah, that's why I assume. I assume he's like the head decorator there. He's contributing to most of it. Maybe Leatherface does it a little bit, but I feel like Nubbins is the one kind of decorating the house. He's making it a home.
That's true.
He makes it a home.
My question is though, like, why did he blow up that photo after Franklin didn't want it?
I guess he was mad. Well, oh yeah, well that's another thing that you could add to it being a supernatural film because that seemed almost like a spell, right?
Oh, yeah.
That seemed almost witchcrafty. Like I'm gonna take a photo of someone, then I'm gonna pour some shit on it and burn it and do like a thing like that. That feels kind of witchcrafty. So again, I don't personally go totally for that take, but I do feel like there's an argument to be made that Chainsaw Massacre has a supernatural interpretation to it. Mm. Oh, also speaking of Nubbins being an artist, it's now my head canon that he helps Leatherface make his masks.
Oh, that's sweet in a way.
He's a good older brother. I think he helps him with it. I feel like Leatherface would struggle a lot with the stitch work, so I feel like Nubbins helps him out. New head canon for them. Um. Also, what'd you think about the first kill in the movie?
First go was so badass. Like the fact that the door just like slides open and then
Yeah.
the guy just goes down and he starts shaking.
Yeah, he does that like fucking death rattle, which like you never see a lot in movies. It's always like an instant knockout. But the fact that they really like showed his leg twitching and his like body kind of like it felt like he was like seizing a little bit. And it's like, oh my God, like that's like violent.
It's so realistic.
And it is like, because previously in the car, the hitchhiker was talking about how when he worked at the slaughterhouse, he prefers using the hammer because he says, oh, they die better that way. And
Oh,
then Leatherface does that, and it's like that's a terrible way to die.
right?
Oh, those poor fucking cows, they were not dying happy. But I do like all those, compare. I do like the idea that to Leatherface and his family, anyone outside of their circle, they may as well be animals. They see them as pretty much animals.
Yeah.
Leatherface especially, which I always like how Leatherface kind of like when you see him, uh, when he picks up Pam, right,
Mhm.
and puts her on the hook, he kind of just like walks away from it afterwards. Like it's like he's just like basically he's like working. It's like he feels like he's working at a slaughterhouse. Whereas oh, there's just an animal, put it up there, and I'm gonna go back to cutting up this other animal. And it's like that's such a fucking creepy way to think about it. How he just sees other humans as basically cattle, and he was raised to do that to cattle, so he does the same to humans, and the movie's so freaky.
Like aura farming in a way.
It's what?
Aura farming.
Leatherface was kind of aura farming, man. When he wasn't totally skizzing out, he was kind of aura farming.
He was.
Like when Kirk trips over the step to get into the back hallway, and Leatherface just appears there, and it's that pan up, and you see like his face for a second, and he just raises the hammer. Dude, he didn't even flinch. Also, I like how Leatherface makes freaky ass animal sounds.
Oh yeah, that was him.
Yeah, when Kirk's at the end of the hallway is like calling out for people, you hear like those like weird like squealing noises. And it was like you lured Kirk in almost. Like again, like an animal. Like he's luring in an animal to kill.
True. Wait, have you seen A Family Portrait, that documentary?
A long time ago. I need to rewatch it.
I think it was that actor that said that he would literally go to like slaughterhouses or like farms and then try to mimic the sounds that the animals made.
That's so far. Gunnar Hansen.
Yeah, Gunnar
Yeah.
Hansen.
Oh, I love Gunnar Hansen. R.I.P. But oh my God, that's yeah. I like how much work Gunnar Hansen put into this role though. Like he hung around with he went to um like a institution for like mentally challenged individuals or and he kind of watched how they acted and the kind of movements they would make and all that, and he brought that with them to Leatherface. So there's a lot of like again more like realism in that. um and also I heard that when filming the movie they didn't have like a washer out there, so Leatherface. So each day, Leatherface or Gunnar Hansen had to wear the same clothes,
Ooh.
like unwashed.
Oh God.
So by the end, they like smelled fucking terrible because it's
Oh.
in a house. There's no AC in that house, and they used actual meat in there, so it's like rotting meat in this hot farmhouse, and you're wearing the same clothes every day. Yeah,
Oh
that sucks. I mean, worth it. I mean, I guess bleed for your art, like shit. Um, and also the character Franklin. What'd you think of him?
I felt so bad for him, like throughout the whole movie.
Me too, man. I see a lot of people who kind of hate on Franklin, like, oh, he's so whiny, and I'm like, wouldn't you fucking be?
Exactly.
You're out in the middle of nowhere. You're in a wheelchair. You're having to push on this like rough, like coarse, like grassy ground. Like nothing's flat anywhere, and you're with all these. You're like I don't know. Their friends were kind of disregarding of Franklin. I thought that was mean.
Yeah, they
Like,
literally downstairs the whole time.
yeah, and I'm like, Dick, come on, man. And the one and Kirk comes up to him and is like, "Hey, where's that swimming hole?" I'm like, "Yeah, thanks, dude." Man, justice for Franklin, bro. Justice for Franklin. He was treated so poorly in this movie, man.
I agree.
I don't like them. Justice for Franklin. And also he he got the most fucked up death, I think. He also got the scariest death
So
because
true.
that's like a jump scare.
Exactly.
Like even back like when movies weren't so jump scary, that is still like okay, yeah, that's a jump scare. Like watching that in the theater and hearing people actually jump at that, I'm like, hell yeah, that's good. That hits. Um, the we talked a little bit about the set design on the house.
Yeah.
What a cool set piece, man. Like all the bone couch and the chicken just dangling there in the cage. Like it gets to a point where the house feels like hell.
Yeah, in a
Like you,
way.
you walk in, it's like you can't even see the floor because there's so many bones and animal skin and feathers, and then there's just a random fucking chicken up there. Uh, yeah, I've always described this movie as feeling like a nightmare because like it's almost nonsensical at times.
Yeah, that's true.
Like you walk into the farmhouse and there's a room full of bones, a chicken, and there's this giant guy wearing like a mask of a severed face just running around. It's like that inside of that house does like it feels like hell and it feels like a nightmare.
Bro, I would be so disoriented.
It just, that just Also, being out in that heat, holy shit.
Yeah. Oh my god, your mug! I just saw it.
Oh, you just noticed? I,
Texas
I
Chainsaw.
hell yeah! I was having a Dr. Pepper with dinner, and I was like, I'm gonna pour the rest of this into my Chainsaw Massacre mug.
That's
I'll
awesome.
record. Yeah, I got this at Spirit Halloween. I think like 2 years ago. And it's a giant mug. It's like
I was like, that looks huge.
I feel like if I don't sip it carefully, I'll spill it. I'm also wearing my Chainsaw Massacre shirt.
Oh my god, you're flexing.
I had to drip out for this episode. Sorry to money spread on you guys with my mug and T-shirt. Stupid. um, do you have any more notes on it? I don't want to be the only one yapping about it.
Um, I don't. Oh wait, no. So like during that scene where his name Drayton, he had the broom and stuff.
Yeah,
Yes, he was
yeah.
eating those people.
Well, with the broom,
Yeah, he
he,
was.
he was actually hitting Marilyn Burns with the broom.
Yes, and the Nubbins actor was actually so annoyed at him for doing that because he didn't expect it.
That's Man, dude, okay. Marilyn Burns and Gunnar Hansen, funny enough, they both went through like total hell for this movie
He didn't.
because Gunnar Hansen was like so like isolated from the rest of the cast to keep like the fear like authentic, and also he had to wear those like dirty ass clothes for like a month while filming. Um, so he pulled the short straw there. Then also Marilyn Burns, she's over here getting beaten with brooms, and when they do the finger cut, they couldn't get the blood to track on the fake knife, or they couldn't get like fake blood. It was some like fake prop. I don't know if it was the fake knife or a fake blood or what, but it was some prop thing where it just wasn't working. It wasn't tracking the blood. So Marilyn was so tired of filming. She was like, I don't care. I just cut my finger for real. If it means we can get this scene done right now, I will let you cut my finger open. And they're like, all right, fine, let's do it. And so they did. Um,
That's brutal, man.
I'm saying, dude. So Leatherface and Sally. Leatherface is a victim in his own way because they both went through hell to make this shit. Man, which I do want to talk a little bit about Leatherface being like sympathetic or being because like when you really take a step back and see how Leatherface acts in this movie, it is kind of sad
It is.
because he lives in total fear of his family. Like he's like constantly afraid of being beat by Drayton.
He's constantly being bullied.
I know. I love how Drayton fucking just bullies both of his younger brothers. He's like so over it with them. Also, when he pulls up in the truck, he calls Nubbins a nap-haired idiot. And I've been thinking about that insult for like 2 weeks now. Just calling someone a nap-haired idiot. I'm like, that's funny. I don't know why. I don't know why that's so funny to me, but yeah.
I love.
Um,
I do love the representation of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Like, you know, Leatherface is like autism coded. Well, actually, the whole family seems like autism coded in a way.
but yeah, they're all well, yeah, they all have like their own like kind of like tick or whatever.
Yeah.
Like Leatherface has Leatherface is like fucking scared shitless half the time. And I was talking about that the other day. I was like, Leatherface is kind of like you know how when people talk about like certain animals that they say, oh, they're more scared of you than you are of it, even if the animal is like totally dangerous and can like tear you apart, it is still more scared of you than you are of it. But because we're scared of it as well, it's like we're kind of at a weird dynamic. And I see Leatherface and like the victims in sort of the same dynamic because like these guys are they're technically going into his house,
Yeah.
so stand your ground law in Texas. But no, but like he's like how people like walk into his house and he's like scared. He's like, what the fuck? Like, why are these people in my house? So he's reacting out of fear. But then also you see this guy, this like 6'5" dude with a face mask and a chainsaw or a hammer, and you're like, oh, they're scared. So it's like they have that similar dynamic of He's more scared of you than you are of him, even though that may not be true.
That's
um,
observation.
but I do think it is kind of true that like Leatherface might be secretly more scared, but like he has the advantage. He has a chainsaw.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Um, but I do feel because like he gets bossed around by his family and shit, and he's like so scared of like displeasing them.
Yeah.
Because even like Drayton comes back with Sally, right? And he's like, "Did you let the rest of them like did any more of them get away?" And he's like, and Leatherface is like, just like showing like where you put all the bodies. Like, no, no, I got all of them right here. Like, don't worry. And meanwhile, Nubbin's like running around like a schizo. If you see in the background, he's just like pacing around the house. He's just, like, just walking. I'm like, what is he doing? Man, I do love the family dynamic though.
Too.
It's 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 such an important part of the movie, and like it took me a while to realize this, but how many times I've rewatched this movie, you realize that as great of a character as Leatherface is, and how he's one of my favorite, he is my favorite horror character of all time, and he's such an interesting character. When you really take a step back and look at the whole family dynamic, Leatherface is kind of the least interesting part of that dynamic because he really is like treated like a guard dog and almost like a tool or like a weapon for the family. And when you see how like Nubbins and Drayton and even like Grandpa like through like the dialogue where they talk about him, there's like so much more beneath the surface to this family. Um, that like I kind of wish more of the movies, and we'll get into this the longer we go on with the series. But I wish more of the movies kind of remembered
Yeah.
that Leatherface isn't the focal point in the original. It's the family as a whole. Like them as a dynamic is dangerous. Leatherface on his own, he's like kind of dangerous, but he's very scared, and he's used as a guard dog basically. But the family dynamic as a whole is where it's like, oh wow, that's like insane. Um, did you have any more like on the family dynamic? Because I think it's such a insanely interesting topic to talk about.
Mhm.
I think I think Drayton is super interesting because like you see his expressions changing throughout from scene to scene, and even like whenever he's like in the car with Sally and he's like poking her with the broomstick, he like laughs and then he stops laughing and it's kind of stern for a minute, and then he looks back and he like does it again and laughs again, and it's like what is this guy like doing? And then even at the dinner table, he's like really stern with them when they're like kind of taunting Sally and getting all up in her face. He's like, I can like leave her alone, just kill her and be done with it. Like stop savoring in it. And Nubbins is like, no, I want to torment her a little bit. I enjoy doing it. And it's like Drayton like tells him, like this isn't meant to be like enjoyable. We're doing this because we just do it. You
It's
know.
like fighting his own demons.
Yeah, no, because like you could tell like there's moments where it's like Drayton realizes how wrong and fucked up this is, but then in that same moment, he's overcome by like the joy of it.
Yeah.
So it's like he's constantly like, "This is wrong," but also he sees his brothers having fun. He's like, "Okay, I'm having a good time." But
I mean, like, in a way, it's kind of like telling them to, like, stop playing with your food kind of thing.
exactly, or it's like it's like poking like a dying animal. If you see an animal dying, you're like poking it with a stick. It's like just put out of its misery. So I feel like Drayton kind of had a similar thing with that. I mean it's sad because it's like when you meet him he almost passes as like a normal guy. He just runs this gas station and sells barbecue and he's just a normal dude. And then you see like his family and it's like, oh my God, this guy like part of him doesn't want to do it, but another part of him is like, I need to do it because it's so he likes it. Or he feel not that he likes it, but he feels compelled to do it.
Yeah.
And he drops one of my favorite lines, and I mean, really ever, but it's a great line in the movie. He's talking about killing, and he says like, I can't take joy in killing, And then there's a kind of a pause, and he's like, "There's just some things in life you have to do. Doesn't mean you have to like it." Like it tells that to Sally, like, "I'm gonna kill you, but I'm not gonna love it." You know, like I just have to do it. It's just my nature. It's just how I was raised. I have to kill you.
Right, like family
Uh,
tradition.
yeah, and because they like eat people and they don't want outsiders coming in, so they're like, yeah, I have to do it. I'm not gonna revel in it like the others, but like it has to be done, which in its own way is just as terrifying. To where it's like what you're doing is bad and wrong, but you're still like, I'm gonna do it anyway. Where I'm not sure Nubbins quite understands that it's wrong. Part of him thinks it's okay.
I love the game.
Oh, one thing I noticed, I never noticed this before until we rewatched it together. In the kitchen, when Drayton and Nubbins come home and Leatherface is like pointing to like all the where like, all the bodies are, like he points to, like the freezer and all that.
Yeah.
You see in the corner of the kitchen Franklin's wheelchair, and it's
Oh,
like folded and just put to the side.
oh shit! I didn't even notice that.
I yeah. And then when I went and saw it in the theater again, I was like, oh, there it is. No, it was great. It's a cool little detail. Um, and also with Drayton, I like when he's yelling at Leatherface because he messed up the door, and then he's worried about people escaping. And when Leatherface is like, "No, I killed all of them," and like Drayton kind of looks at him, and he stops looking angry for a second. He looks almost sad for a second because he's
Yeah.
like, "Ah, my brother, he doesn't quite know what's going on." But then he goes back to being angry. He's like, "You messed up the door." He's trying to find someone to be angry about at that point. He feels sad for a minute, but he's like, "You, you broke the door, and now I'm mad about that." And it's like, oh my god, they're I love like the little complexities of the family. It's like I could do a whole fucking podcast episode on that, basically, on just the Sawyer family. And again, it kind of makes me mad that and we'll get to this when we do that episode. But when they do the prequel to the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, we spend almost zero time with the family, and I'm like, I almost don't care anymore why Leatherface is the way he is. I always just chalked it up to he was born, never learned, and he didn't know how to communicate, never really was taught how to speak, or maybe he has some whatever condition, he can't properly speak, whatever, and then just he was raised that way. Okay, end of story. But then like with Drayton and Nubbins and even like the grandpa who I'm like super interested in as a character, it's like there's so much to unpack there and so much to explore. But after a while, all these movies are just about Leatherface.
Exactly.
Which again, don't get me wrong, I love Leatherface. He's not my favorite, but also like that family dynamic is so complex and so rich in potential storytelling that I don't know why we're still only focusing on one member of that family. And another thing that kind of another thing that kind of gets lost in translation over the years, over the franchise, is why Leatherface wears the different masks. It kind of just became like, oh, he has to do it because audiences expect him to do it because that's his character. But like the reason why he does it, at least explained by Toby Hooper and Gunnar Hansen, is that it's different personalities, right?
Yeah.
Like it's different. Like he wears a different mask for a different whatever different task he's doing, or how whatever he's feeling. Like when he's like just walking, whenever he's like butchering the people like animals, basically he's doing work like cooking and all that, or preparing meat or killing animals. He wears like the butcher mask, which is where like we see him for the most part. Whenever he's getting the house ready for dinner, he wears like an old woman mask. He wears like an apron, so that's just him being like, okay, this is my apparel to do that. Like, that's like his how he needs to do it, I guess. Just be like, oh, I need to wear this to do this, and this is what I need to focus on, or whatever. Um, and then whenever he's having dinner, especially when he's having a guest for dinner, like Sally, he has like a fancy suit. And he has like a mask with a lot of makeup on. That's just his way of expressing like, okay, this is my dinner outfit, and this is what I'm wearing to do this.
I love that. It's kind of like fluid in a way.
Yeah, it is. And it's like that's just like I feel like he's a character where like he has to do that. Like he can't do it without that.
Yeah.
And down the line he just starts doing it just because audiences expect him to do it, and there's not really any like sort of pattern with it. Which again, I kind of wish they focused more on that. Um, I I will say I have a few more notes on Chainsaw Massacre One because of course I do. But what do you think about the difference in the masks from Chainsaw Massacre One to Chainsaw Massacre Two?
I felt like, because like in Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, he didn't really change it all that much, did he?
No, he didn't.
Yeah.
I don't think he changed it once. Actually, I don't think he did.
Yeah, I don't think he did. I felt like the second one followed the formula of like, he just has to have the mask on, stuff like that. But the first one was a lot better because it did have more fluidity and like personality to like what
Mm.
he do.
And like for me, like just like even strictly on like a design aspect, I think Chainsaw Massacre 2, as cool as the mask is, because designed by Tom Savini, and it's got a lot of like intricate parts to it. Like there's like an ear hanging right here. It's less of a severed face and more just like skin made into a mask.
Yeah.
Um, I do think the less is more approach works a lot better with Leatherface's mask, because like you see like in the original, all the masks are so simple. There's not a lot of stitching. There's like one stitch like over here and then like some holes here for like tightening it and all that. But then from in Chainsaw Massacre 2, it's like there's a million stitches in the mask. It looks
Yeah.
like a Frankenstein's monster of a mask. And that gets carried on in a lot of the other movies as well. Um, and the remake, it had a lot of stitch work, which is like that's kind of going against what I'm saying. But like in Chainsaw Massacre 2003, it looked okay because I liked how it was lit and shot and just how it was framed. It looked cool, but just I feel like for Chainsaw Massacre 2, as cool as it looks, it looks very almost silly. It looks like a Halloween store costume. Whereas the original, it like that, yeah, that looks like a severed face that's just been fitted to another person's face,
Yeah, that
you
makes sense.
know. So I am I kind of wish that they kept the less is more approach, which in some of them they kind of do, but that original, they just the way they did the mask in the original, it was perfect because it was just a face on a face, which is super uncanny and startling to look at, even without the context. Like just seeing a face on a face, it just looks unnatural and uncanny and weird. It almost is like that Skinwalker type of thing, like the uncanny valley, where it's like like this looks human, but it almost also doesn't in a way because it's just like you see like the mouth, but you see another mouth, and like the eyes are more sunken in. Just God, it's creepy.
I feel like in the second one that it was a little more fitting because the whole movie was like comedic in a way.
Oh yeah, and like the Chainsaw Massacre 2 mask has its perks. It has its has its you know it's cool. It looks cool. It has it's designed by Tom Savini. Again, I like the ear right here. I like how it's just kind of like a little bit of everything everywhere. Kind of matches the chaos of the movie. Like you said, it matches the tone. But yeah, I think the original is like just such a creepy design for like a mask because it just looks so real. Oh, probably not one more thing. Who am I kidding? But one thing I I wrote down that I had never caught until we watched it together. That when they pick up the hitchhiker, Franklin is like, "Oh, we just picked up Dracula. And he looks weird, and uh, and then Nubbins is talking about his family and how they have a farm like right off the road. And Franklin was like, oh, a whole family of Draculas. And it's like, yep, that's what it is. It's a whole family of freaking weird people. So that, again, with that foreshadowing that
Love
you
it.
talked about, I love the because there's as I know it's a perfect movie, man. And when I've rewatched this movie a million times and I'm still like noticing little things and just perfect movie, man. Perfect movie. Oh, with the when Marilyn Burns is when Sally, escapes, uh, in the at the end of the movie, she jumps out the window. I like how, and maybe it was just me who like felt this, but like when she jumps out, the music and I mean the lighting changes, of course, but like even like the whole like there's like a tonal shift when she breaks through that window. You know, it's like she really is like escaping hell because like
Yeah.
you're in that scene like the grandpa is trying to hit her over the head with the hammer and he's failing and she's being held down by these people and they're like cheering him on and like the music's getting louder and they're like yelling and screaming and whatever and the hammer keeps hitting that metal bucket and it's an overstimulation of noises. And then she gets out, the music's swelling, it's getting higher and higher, and then she breaks through that window and then it's like it just stops. The music for a second just stops and like it's bright outside. There's like a bunch of quick cut editing of her looking around outside, her vision adjusting. And it's like that immediate shift, um, when she gets to the window is so it's so you feel it, you know. I was like, did you feel the same with that or?
Yeah, it was like taking a breath of fresh air, you know?
Yeah, like, you feel that morning breeze on her face when she gets out of there, even though she's still running for her life. You can still like feel it.
Exactly.
Especially when you're in that house, like it's like I've always said, like when you put this movie on and you put your hand up to the screen, it would feel warm.
Yeah.
Like the movie feels hot. Like if you touch it, it's gonna hurt your hand. Like it's gonna it feels hot. And when she breaks out the window, you feel that, like you said, you feel that breath of fresh air, that morning breeze. Um, and for a split second, you're relieved, and then you see them chasing her through the front door and all
Yeah.
that. Um, uh, man, Nubbin's getting fucking flattened by the the 18 wheeler.
It was so sad.
Why didn't he get out of the way? He was like, "Stop!" I was like, "Bro, he's not stopping, bro." This completely crushes him. Goddamn. um, no, that's cool. It's a satisfying death. But even that whole scene, it's like you can't escape the chaos. Like she breaks out the window, it's still chaotic. You're running out of the road. He's like chopping her like back up with his like blade.
Yeah.
And Leatherface is still. You hear the chainsaw getting closer, but for the most part, you just see like Nubbin just like pulling her shirt and her hair and just taking like quick like slashes at her. And then like a truck just comes and just like plows right through him and just fucking steamrolls his body across the road. And it's like, oh my god, like this movie just will not let up. Like you had that brief like second break of tension when she breaks through the window, and then it's just immediately back to chaos. Um, God, that whole third act is amazing. Um, and then when the truck driver lets her into the 18 wheeler, Leatherface is like pressing his chainsaw against the door, and I noticed that again, a lot of first time notices on this watch for me. I don't know, I just again I notice something new every time I watch this movie. Um, when Leatherface is like, pressing his chainsaw against the door and just kind of like just pushing it at it. It was similar to how Nubbins was like pressing his arm against the van to like wipe the blood on there. It just felt similar in motion and yeah,
I never noticed that.
it's like I don't know if that was intentional. Maybe I sound schizophrenic looking too much into it, but like I was like, holy shit, that's cool too. Because they're both very like twitchy and reactive people, Leatherface and Nubbins. I mean, in different ways, but they both like kind of have like little like twitching fits,
It's a
And
cool deal.
yeah, right. Um, then also Leatherface cuts his leg. which is like, yeah, satisfying. Deserved. No, poor guy. Like they just threw a fucking wrench at him, just full speed. Just he didn't even like hold it and like hit him with it. He was like, yeah, like threw it like a tomahawk. He was like, yeah. He was like, catch that shit. He just tumbles back and immediately cuts his leg open.
Deserved.
Also, I like how when Leatherface yells, I was like, that's like the most like audible noise he makes in the whole movie. That's like the most natural noise he makes in the whole thing. It's like, ah! It's like, it sounded almost ADR. I was like, was that added in post? But I don't know. But it was cool. I'm not knocking it. It was just like it sounded so different from how he sounds for the rest of the movie. So it's like, that shit cut deep. So, that really pissed them off. Um, the ending, Sally riding off into the back of the truck. What a performance from Marilyn Burns, man. The whole movie, especially the whole third act, when she's going through hell, but that that last few shots of her, you know, like the cutting between or going between like crying and laughing, or the screaming and laughing rather. That's insane. Like it's such a like it feels almost feral. Like it's a this disturbing noise.
Yeah, I
But
agree.
yeah, like the screaming and laughing and God damn. And it ends with the iconic chainsaw dance. Which Toby Hooper described Leatherface as like a a toddler in a grown man's body holding a chainsaw, which is like scary as hell. But like when he's you know doing that chainsaw dance, he's like totally like just upset. Like it does feel like a child having a tantrum, like thrashing around and just upset that he lost, that she escaped. Yeah, it's just like that's just perfect characterization and just a perfect way to end that. Just how you just hear like the the chainsaw and it just cuts to black and all the sound is gone. Man, what a just perfect movie. Perfect movie. Uh, I
In a way, relief from the ending, but like not from like just the escape, but also because of the cries of anguish that Leatherface did. It almost brought him to a human aspect that reminded me that they were all human too.
yeah. No, yeah, exactly. Like Leatherface is like exceptionally human. Like he's reacting out of fear to
Yeah.
things he doesn't understand, which is such a human fear, like fear of the unknown. Because like Sally and her friends have no idea what they're walking into, and Leatherface has no idea what's coming into his house. Um, so it's like that clashing again. It's like saying an animal is more afraid of you than you are of it. It's like, well, that may be true. I still don't want to interact with that animal. Like some people say that bears are more scared of us than we are of it, than we are of them, and I'm like, I don't want to test that theory. So I do like the humanity of Leatherface and the family in general. But I think Leatherface is probably the most human and like the least malicious out of all of them. Because I've always thought that Leatherface doesn't fully understand what he's doing. Like because he doesn't see them. He literally does not see them as people. He doesn't think that he's hurting people. He thinks that he's just killing animals that walk into his house. Just to them, they are animals, and the only people he really cares about is his family. Well, Nubbins and Drayton and all of them, they know, like, okay, well, these are people, but we're still killing them. And so, as fucked up as it sounds, I do think Leatherface is probably the most human and the most the least malicious of the trio.
I agree with that.
Yeah. Oh, before I forget, what did you think of the grandpa?
The grandpa, the whole scene where they were trying to bash her head in was hilarious to me. They kept hyping him up, and like he just kept missing.
You got it. You got it. How does hell? And but yeah, No, yeah, it's like they were hyping him up. No, like Grandpa's such an interesting character, man. Yeah, I'm saying like out of all like the times we've rebooted this franchise and done sequels and prequels and whatever else, when are we gonna get his movie? He's like the most interesting to me because like there's one line that they say in what was it? It's when they're bringing Grandpa down and they're talking about him, and Drayton says that Grandpa is the best killer that ever was, and they say he did all they say is he did 60 in 5 minutes, and it's like realistically they're probably talking about cattle because again human and cattle are interchangeable to them. It doesn't matter the context, but it's like you think you might be talking about cattle, but also you're like, could he have killed 60 people in 5 minutes? That's like, I wouldn't put it past them, maybe. Or how maybe it was cows and humans, all 60 total in 5 minutes at the
Spoiler,
slaughterhouse.
spoiler alert, he wasn't killing.
Yeah, yeah, it was. Oh, it took me a minute to get that. I'm slow, man. Damn.
Faster than Jesse James.
Man, but no, I want to see that Grandpa movie, man. I want to see the Grandpa Sawyer movie.
It would be cool.
I if who I don't know who owns the rights to Chainsaw Massacre right now. I assume it's still Netflix, maybe or maybe not. I don't know. I know there's going to be a bidding war for it supposedly. Um, so whoever wins the bidding war, please talk to me for ideas. I will, or just listen to this podcast and you'll get it. You'll see my application. Uh, Also, dude, the first time I watched this, I didn't know. I thought the grandpa was a dead body. They were just lugging around. I was like, oh, that's kind of funny, but also disturbing. Like, they're like, oh, this is our grandpa. It's just a dead body, and I'm like, oh, that's like freaky, but kind of funny. But then like he starts sucking on the blood, and like he does like he like has his arms moving, like his legs. He's like kicking his feet in glee that he's sucking this woman's blood. Which again, that goes back to a whole family of Draculas. He's drinking her blood. Oh, dude. Oh, big brain movie. Big brain movie for big brain people. Not really. No. But no, yeah, it's just there's so much cool shit to dig into in this movie. I'm gonna end my yapping session about this one with talking about the soundtrack. What'd you think of the soundtrack?
I love the soundtrack.
Yeah, because like it's a lot of it. Uh, you know, they said they wanted to, or the I think his name is David Bell, the composer. He had said he wanted to not have any music or actual instruments really. It wanted to be like sounds you would hear in a slaughterhouse. Just like metal banging and just weird noises off in the distance. And it said especially like they wanted it to feel like you were an animal in a slaughterhouse. Like this is what a cow would hear just walking around a slaughterhouse. Just like distant banging noises and just ominous random shit in the background. Where it's like it's that animal like to an animal they're like, what the fuck is that? I don't know what that noise is. So it's like, with the composition, like you can't even tell what instrument, if any instrument is being used. It's just like ambiguous noises.
That makes sense because when you asked me about the soundtrack, I was just like, what soundtrack?
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, it's like it makes you think like, what the fuck is going on back there? And it just like makes you feel like an animal who just doesn't understand what's going on, but all you know is that you're about to die. And with that positive note, we'll switch it over to Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 from 1986. All right, so we are back to it with Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 from 1986.
Woo!
Yes. Uh this was a fun one because it's like, I looking at it and of course they're going at it from a totally different angle, making it a comedy and like it is pretty funny. But like, cause like there's some moments in the original where it's kind of like weirdly funny, like dark funny.
Yeah.
Again, like Drayton calls Nubbins a nap-haired idiot. Oh, yeah, that's funny. But this one is really just full on like dark comedy. I was in the original when Leatherface tears through the door. It takes Drayton and Nubbins a minute to notice, and they go through the door, and Drayton's like, "Look what your brother did to the damn door!" Like he's already stressed, and he turns around, and he's like, "What the fuck, my door?" That's a funny scene in the original, but yeah, the sequel is full on comedy. Even so far as like the poster for the original for the sequel is a parody of Breakfast Club
Yeah.
with the Sawyers, and that's awesome. They're even posing Nubbins' dead body. That's great. I think that's great. Um, what I know you have a lot of thoughts on Chainsaw Massacre too.
Yeah. So like this one is actually my favorite one out of the whole like franchise. I love Texas Chainsaw Massacre too. I even have
Oh
like
yeah.
UHD one.
You even have what?
I even have the 4K DVD one.
Oh hell yeah.
Yes, it's so good.
I need to pick up that upgrade.
Yeah.
I remember when I was assembling all my DVDs to do this binge. I was because I remember I have most of the movies on Blu-ray, but I had Chainsaw Massacre 2 and 3 on DVD that I had in high school. Just the old DVDs, and I couldn't find them for the life of me. I think they are like back at my parents' place, and I'm like, okay, well, not getting those. I don't want to have to like dig through closets to find them. I can rent them for $2 on Amazon or whatever. Which I know I'm a big physical media guy, so I mean, obviously that's hypocritical, but but I do need to pick up the 4K of Chainsaw Massacre 2, and I feel like did they do a 4K of Chainsaw Massacre 3 or
Maybe.
maybe I know they just released the 4K of the remake and the prequel to the remake Chainsaw Massacre and Chainsaw Massacre at the beginning. They released some nice 4Ks of those, but I don't know if there's a 4K for part 3. Anyway, getting off topic. Um, what else is new, right? For the show.
I was gonna say,
Um,
I want the vinyl that they did for Texas Chainsaw Massacre too.
you have the vinyl?
No, I want it.
Oh hell yeah!
Oh yeah.
Is it like the score, or is it like a soundtrack to this?
It's the soundtrack. I think some of the songs that they played on the radio.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah.
That's cool. Also, one cool thing about Chainsaw Massacre 2 takes place in Dallas. Represent. Hell yeah. Um, the opening narration kind of confused me when I first watched it, or it was like, so the cops go investigate the house and there's nothing. They cleared out everything, like all the bones, the dangling chicken. They got all of that by the time the cops showed up,
It doesn't make sense.
and they just threw it all in Drayton's truck and then just drove off. So like, oh, on record, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre never happened, and I'm like, what? Weird opening narration. I think that was an unneeded retcon, or it's an unneeded detail. Like
Yeah.
you could say it happened and they're at large. You could just say that, or like no one knows who they are. There's like three masked people because in the original they never said their names.
Oh, that's true.
Like the hitchhiker is just known as the hitchhiker, and no one even gives him a name. This isn't who he's credited as. Like no one gives him an actual name in the movie. And Drayton is just the cook. He's just known as the cook, and Leatherface is known as Leatherface, not Bubba or what because that's his name in this continuity. But it's just known as Leatherface. So it's like no one knows their names. So you could have said, yeah, it happened, but no one knows who they are, and we have like a vague description of what they look like. But it's like, in the '70s, how far is that going to get you? So, but that was a weird detail for me. I was like, what? Um. Oh yeah. When the because it follows a Stretch, who's like a radio DJ host.
Yes.
When you before my time, when you prank call a radio station, are they not allowed to hang up on you?
That's what I was wondering because she was begging that person to hang up. And I was like, why couldn't she do it herself?
It's like if you leave the power of hanging up entirely up to them, of course you're gonna get shit like that. Like what? And so I made the note that prank calling radio stations must have been fun as hell back in the day. That must have been funny as hell. Um again, like this movie is like very comedic and very funny, but like the first kill scene, Leatherface like strapping Nubbins' dead body to him and like wearing it as like a costume, and where it's like his hands are it's that is so deeply disturbing. Like visually, I'm like, that's fucking horrifying. That's not funny at all. That's horrifying. Like he wears like a scarecrow. It's like, oh, Jesus Christ, that's that was creepy. Oh, that might be like the most like Leatherfacey thing from the original that he did in the sequel.
Yeah, right. But like in a way, I think it's kind of like celebrating the dead, like they're wearing Nevin's dead body. Like they
Oh
probably
yeah,
way that we do.
oh yeah, no, 100% Leatherface is like he loves this.
Mhm.
Leatherface is like he 100% likes that I'm doing this, and then even that's the most horrifying thing imaginable. And I'm sure knowing Nubbins, I'm sure he's looking up at us from hell, and he's very happy about it. No, he was a gifted artist. He's in heaven. I'm gonna move on from that. It's weird seeing Leatherface and his family actively pursuing people. It kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier, how it's like Leatherface is reactive. He's not outwardly going out to hurt people. He's people are breaking into his house, or not breaking, but they're walking into his house, and he's reacting scared and reacting the way he knows how to, which is killing. So it's weird to see them actively like chasing people down and getting into confrontations. Um, but yeah, I want to hear more of your thoughts on this movie because I know this is your favorite, and it's a fun one.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's almost like they're like actively hunting now.
Yeah, yeah.
It's fun.
What's up?
That's what I like about it.
Yeah, well, it's like yeah, I also kind of see it as like Leatherface like slowly becoming more bold and more like less afraid to take action
Huh.
because it's like Leatherface in the original, he has like the mind of like a child or like a toddler or whatever, you know. So now that we've like time jumped like 15 years, like I guess if he's like he would have more so the mind of like I guess a teenager maybe. I don't know. I'm on the timeline here. So it's like he would be like still anxious, but he would still be like able to outwardly get into confrontations and be more reactive or be less reactive, more like proactive and hunting and working with his family on stuff. Which I think is a neat way to look at it and a neat way to write it as well.
And you
Um,
are having like a mind of a teenager because like I think the only like sexual like context was in this movie when he had like the mind of a teenager.
yeah, he's going through puberty basically. He's like, oh, this chick,
Yeah.
he's like this girl that I like. I'm gonna, you know, Leatherface is horned up in this movie, man. I'm not gonna beat around the bush. He's
He was freaked out.
wait, what?
He was freaked out.
He was having a freak off, bro. No, he's so he's just he's on it in this movie. He knows what he wants.
That's true.
Yeah, no. Like there's a scene. I'm getting ahead of myself on my notes, but like while we're on the topic, there's this scene where like Stretch is basically breaking up with Leatherface. And it's so funny to me. It's such a funny concept. And I like how quickly Stretch adapts to like Leatherface's mindset. Like after she's done just screaming in terror the first time they attack the radio station, she's like, "Are you mad at me?" And he's like, "It's like, how mad are you?" And it's like, "Why are you trying to communicate here? Like, why is there a dialogue?" Like, I like how she's like, "Okay, I can talk my way out of this."
I don't think this is gonna work out.
Yeah, she tells us it's not gonna work. I'm like, man, I like how she communicates with Leatherface because in the original, like Sally is like probably like catatonic by the end of the damn movie. And then here's Stretch. She's like faced with that same terror, and she's like, I can work my way around this. I could smooth talk my way out of here and live.
Wait, but like when they were hunting and stuff, who was the one driving? It's Chop Top, right?
I believe so. I want to think so. Yeah.
It's the fact that Chop Top can drive is crazy to me.
Hey, he was in Vietnam, right? So he probably had to drive something.
It's true.
Yeah, they got it. Chop Top is efficient. Which, dude, I love Chop Top. I love him. I know you love him too because you love Bill Moseley.
I do.
I I put out a tweet after watching Chainsaw Massacre 2. It was a picture of Chop Top, and I said most geeked character in all of cinema. Like quite possibly one of the most like cracked out characters in all of cinema. That dude's tweaking the entire movie. He's just like tweaking out. Also, I like that he's supposed to be Nubbin's twin brother.
Oh yeah, it's a good detail.
Yeah, because Bill Moseley does look like Nubbins. Which is why they casted him because he yeah the story Bill Moseley made the short comedy Texas Chainsaw Manicure, and he had a brief cameo in it as the hitchhiker. And through the grapevine, Toby Hooper saw it and called him up and was like, "Who played the hitchhiker in that?" He's like, "Oh, that was me." And he's like, "Oh, well, if I ever do Chainsaw Massacre 2, I'll let you know. I'll keep you in mind." And Bill Moseley was like, "What the fuck? Okay, sure." Did you know that he submitted Texas Chainsaw Manicure for SNL?
He did?
He wanted to be an SNL cast member, and he's like, "This is my audition tape. Is this funny enough?" And they're like, the SNL was like, "Not really."
Oh,
Or maybe they thought it was funny, but they're like, not really our style. And kind of just, yeah, said no. Man, imagine alternate universe Bill Moses on SNL.
damn. He would have skyrocketed from there.
I prefer him in Devil's Rejects. I think he's better at it.
Same.
He's better as a badass horror movie actor. He doesn't need SNL.
Yeah,
SNL needed him.
that's true. Write that down.
Uh, yeah, the rate. Which I mean, speaking of, we talked about the radio station piece. We thought about the radio station scene a minute ago, but I think that's such a cool set piece. I feel like so much of Chainsaw Massacre is like, there's a lot of cool set pieces in the franchise, but it's a lot of it is like what you expect, like countryside, farmhouses, barns, slaughterhouse, whatever, the woods, But having a whole like Leatherface encounter at a radio station is like cool as hell. It was a cool scene.
Yes.
And I like how the door to like the closet is similar to Leatherface's door in the original, like behind the hallway where it's like he pulls it, and it's like a metal door. Thought that was a neat detail.
I thought so too.
Yeah.
There was also a really good jump scare in the radio station.
There is. That one still gets me every time. I'm like, when the fuck is gonna happen? I'm like waiting for Chop Top to like reach into that closet and turn the light on. That's on my how I know to brace myself for the impact. I'm like wait because he gets like closer and closer. I'm like, when the fuck is he gonna hit that light switch? I know it happens. Oh, also, the way they reveal uh the way they reveal Drayton is cool as hell.
It is.
Because they're like, oh yeah, chili cook off and stretches there, and they're all just doing reporting on it. And oh, the winner is Drayton, and then you see him like walk out. It's like, oh, that's him.
Yeah.
Because again, in the original, you didn't know his name was Drayton. You just knew him as the cook. So when they say Drayton, you're like, who's that? And then it cuts to them walking up there, and you're like, oh shit.
It's such a good reveal.
Yeah, especially for since it's a cook off.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's like, oh no, the secret is the meat. It is like chili. Like, you gotta have really good meat. And then like, one of the judge bites into a tooth. Doesn't realize it. Yeah.
Yeah, I love how well adapted they made him like seem in this movie. Like he's talking to people, he's just like a regular guy.
Like, yeah, that's like Drayton's superpower, man. Is that despite how fucked up his family is, he can still blend into normal society. He's like the face of the family. Like no one else sees Chop Top or Leatherface, but Drayton is like kind of like a local celebrity almost.
Right.
You know, he's like a multiple like chili cook-off winner, and he has a successful business, and he's like just he's about it. You know, he's like a local celebrity, you know.
Yeah.
Um, I do like when we do see Chop Top, it's mostly at night. Like he doesn't like going out during the day. He must just goes out at night, maybe. It feels almost vampire like, you know. He's so pale and he shows up. He's like all like weird and you know creepy. That like radio station scene. And again, we were going back to when we were talking about the original, how each of them have kind of like a twitch or like some sort of like you know a thing with them. You know, I like how Chop Top has one as well. And it's the scratching his metal plate.
Yeah.
So gross. The way he does it, it's such a weird. I mean, I get it's efficient, I guess, but it's just such a weird. He like heats up the hanger and then he like starts claw like picking at it. And you hear like for really good audio design on this movie, you hear like the sizzling for a second when it touches the skin. And
Yeah.
he lights it, and you hear like, and it's like you don't hear it anymore. It's just like you hear him like scratching it. It's like, oh, that's creepy.
And then he eats it.
Yeah, he like picks off of it, and, like eats something. Oh.
So gross.
It was given like Renfield, like eating flies, like in Dracula. Reminded me of that a little bit. Um, yeah, he's like, dude, Chop Top's one of the best characters, and I'm so mad he's never used again in any of the Chainsaw Massacre movies or in any other. He's not mentioned once at all in any other continuities.
It's not
Like,
fair.
I know, and I'm like, man, give me Chop Top. Y'all can make Chainsaw Massacre 2 canon in one of these. Yeah. Even like even in the Leatherface prequel, I'm like, they should have given it. They should have had young Chop Top. That would have been cool. But uh,
Oh, you saw this documentary about All American Massacre, right?
yeah, I was gonna bring that up. Yeah, I watched a documentary in search of All American Massacre. It's on Tubi right now. I highly recommend for anyone interested giving that a watch, especially with in light of recent events. You know, because there was that VHS tape that was found on eBay, and it sold for $8,500. Which if I won the fucking lottery, I would. Oh my god, if I won the lottery, I'd own that shit. Oh, I'm so mad. Which okay, I really want to go on a tangent about All American Massacre, but I'm wondering if I should just bite my tongue about it.
Actually, I do want to hear your thoughts on it because like I didn't watch that documentary.
Well, it doesn't have a lot to do with the documentary per se. It's about what recently happened and how you know that VHS got unearthed, right?
Mhm.
It's like lost media, even though it's a lot of people were thinking it was the full movie. It is not the full movie. It's like an hour's worth of content, and by content I mean like it's outtakes and it's like a scene but without the full audio. So it's like raw footage of a scene before any like audio mixing. So you just hear the actors talking and you hear like crew talking in the background supposedly. Like it's that. Like it's very, very rough, but it's still all American Massacre to an extent. It's still more unseen footage of it, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, take what you can get, right? Beggars can't be choosers, and I'm certainly begging for it, so I'm certainly not going to be choosy about it. Um, but it's that's pretty much what was on the VHS tape. Just a bunch of like an hour or so's worth of stuff like that, and it got sold. Someone bought it, and they reached out to a YouTuber that I follow called like Planet CHH, Planet CCH or something. I want to double check real quick to make sure I have that correct. But you know, the person who bought it reached out to that YouTuber and said, I have it, it's in good hands. I'm going to digitize this footage, and I want the uh yeah, it was Planet CHH. He reached out to YouTuber Planet CHH and said, "It's in good hands. I want to digitize it. The world deserves to see it, even though it's not the full movie. Like we got to take what we can get, and I'm gonna make a digital copy, and we could do a release on your YouTube channel because you have a good audience who wants this sort of stuff." So they were planning some sort of collaboration with that, and then what I heard from the YouTuber, he did a YouTube video about it. From Planet CHH, he got an email from the director of All American Massacre, William Hooper, Toby Hooper's son, who had said, "Hey, I really don't want that footage being released." And when asked why, he was like, "Because I'm making my own edit of All American Massacre, and I want to get it released, and this leaking will make it so all my hard work goes to waste," which is, I got to say, not true at all. Um, and he was like, "If this gets out, I'm abandoning the project totally, and it's just not going to get released." Because he's like, "Oh, I've tried for 25 years to get this released, so if this is what does it in, I'm going to give up on it." And it's yeah, it's weird. So the YouTuber said, you can call him the YouTuber. That feels dumb, but like his name keeps escaping because I keep thinking about this movie. Uh, Planet CHH said, "Okay, I'm not going to do the collaboration. We're not going to release the digital copy of what's on that VHS tape." Um, and it's so frustrating to me how fans have been wanting this for so long. I don't want to sound like an entitled asshole about it. I'm not trying to go full Snyder cut about it, which I like the Snyder cut. It's not, but I'm not gonna try to be one of those assholes who starts a whole movement about it and acts entitled and that we deserve to see it. I'm not gonna say that, but it's like the fact that this has been gone as like lost media for so long, and we have like a shred of it. We have like an inkling of it, right? And we finally have a chance to see at least a little bit of what could have been. Then suddenly the director comes out of the woodwork and says, "Oh no, I'm actually doing my own version of it. I'm actually going to do it this time, guys. I'm actually going to release it," even though it was shot like 26, 25 years ago. And it's like, why why is it now that you're bringing this up? You know, and also, if it's true, what's on that VHS tape is like unedited, rough outtakes and out of context scenes, how is that going to affect your release? How is that going to affect your release of the movie? Like, how is a few out of context, poorly edited, not or no, not even edited, like just raw scenes, going to put a damper on your full, completely finished, polished feature length movie? I just don't see an outcome where it does. And I think that's such a. I didn't mean to go on such a passionate rant here. I'm sorry, but I just don't buy that. I think that's such a ridiculous statement to make. And I want to respect William Hooper. I'm not trying to be a dick or call him out or anything. But I have to kind of argue that I do not think this VHS tape being released to the public is going to have any sort of damper on whatever a finished version of All American Massacre looks like. Because it's like that's not even a quarter of the movie on that tape. Not even a quarter of it. And on the All American Massacre documentary, they talk about how they saw a finished cut of it one night. Like the cast, they had like a Halloween party or Christmas party or whatever, and
Yeah.
William Hooper played a finished cut of it, and it was fine. It was feature length, and it was low budget, but it was fine. All the scenes were there, and it looked good. It looked passable. So he had a finished cut. how many years ago, right? But now suddenly, oh no, no, I'm working on a new finished cut, and if you release this, that'll put a wrench in all my plans, and then I'm going to give up. And it just doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know. I don't buy it. I think it's such a strange and quite frankly petty act to say, oh, I'm if you put a non-existent wrench in my probably non-existent plans, because like what, like 26 years later and now you have it. But yeah,
Right.
you had a cut. I saw the documentary. You had a cut on, that Christmas party. Whenever you had that cut ready, but now you have a cut, right? 25 years later. Um, I just don't buy it. I think it's ridiculous. I think I what I think it is I think I think William Hooper is embarrassed of the movie. I think maybe he just doesn't like how it looks. Maybe it's not up to his standards, and he's maybe a perfectionist artist where I'm not gonna let people see it until it's perfect the way I want it. Which, hey, I'm a filmmaker too. I get it, but real shit, you got to get over that. You just gotta. Especially, I haven't taken this long on a movie, 25 years. A finished movie, supposedly. Um, so it's, I didn't mean to go on this whole long rant, but that's while we're talking about All American Massacre, because I really want All American Massacre to come out. That is like, if All American Massacre comes out, I will host a in-person screening of it at a movie theater. There will be a Talking Terror sponsored screening of it. I hand on a Bible. I would love to make that happen. So if William Hooper is serious and he's gonna drop a fucking epic 4K HD finished cut of the movie sometime in the next year or so, fantastic. I'd love to see it. But until that day, why can't we eat these little breadcrumbs that we have? Why is it that when we get a little bit of breadcrumbs, I've already said it, we get these breadcrumbs of a movie, and we're, oh well, at least we have this to see what could have been. He just comes out of the woodwork and is like, no, actually, don't do that because mine's coming anyway. I just don't buy it. I don't know. Sorry for the whole nerd rant there, but I want All American Massacre to come out. I think it's a great idea. The trailer looks cool. I think the concept is neat. Chop Top's a very interesting character who deserves more love and more of a spotlight. And just he's a cool character. He's a great character, and Bill Moseley's a great actor. And uh, All American Massacre is a cool idea, and I'm all on board of it. I don't like how the second we got close to seeing an inkling of it beyond that trailer, suddenly this news breaks. So I don't know. You make of that of what you will. And I mean, Ari, I don't know if you've seen the video. I could send you the link to the video after the show,
Yeah,
but yeah, but definitely check out all the In Search of All American Massacre. Check out the documentary. It's a great documentary. Would love to have the director of that on here sometime so we could do a whole episode on All American Massacre and Chop Top and what could have been. That'd be a really fun episode because clearly we both want that fucking movie to exist.
of course.
And now you have now I'm pumped on the idea of a talking terror screening of All American Massacre. Now that should
Yeah.
sound so hype. William, release the damn movie so I can make good on my word, please. Now I want to do it. But anyway, back to Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, the task at hand.
Yes.
The footage of Chopped Up we do have, the movie that does exist. Um, yeah. I think I already mentioned Stretch breaking up with Leatherface. I already mentioned that part, but I like how Leatherface he like one of his like acts of love is like cutting off a face and putting it on her. Fucking awesome, man.
That scene almost made me throw up, bro.
Yeah, that was a gross scene. That it's funny because out of all the Chainsaw Massacre movies, that's like maybe the one that's like gotten me the most like ew. Okay, that's gross.
Yeah.
It's like the face is still wet and it's like flopping around and he's like just pressing it against her face because she's trying to take it off. He's like pushing it on her.
And it was her best friend's face.
I know. Right after that scene, uh, oh yeah, I also made a note that said LJ death was very sad. Justice for LJ or LG, not LJ. What the hell? My handwriting's fucking terrible. Pardon me. Uh, this is for LG. Um, but I do like how after that, when she still has like the mask on and all that, or the face stuck to her face, the face stuck to her face, when she still has the severed face on her, uh, um, Lefty thinks that she's Leatherface for a minute. I was like startled by her. That's funny. And I made a note when we were talking about Leatherface like kind of being more bold and being in this like kind of puberty stage or his teenager like stage. He um he lies to his family in this,
Yeah.
which you like never he's always so like afraid of his family. Um so seeing him like lie to them, even though he was like nervous to do it, but he still did it. So that's I thought that was an interesting little character note. All right, this is your favorite Chainsaw Massacre movie. Drop some knowledge on me.
All right. Actually, I keep thinking about this. So like it was the fact that when Dennis Cooper, the sheriff, was
Mm.
through the house and stuff, they put Franklin back in his wheelchair to put him on display.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
That's fucked up, man.
And he still had the flashlight.
Yeah. Oh my God, he did. Jesus,
So
man.
in a way, they do really celebrate death, which is great. I shouldn't have said great.
No, I agree. I agree. I like how they do. Maybe they do see that. Maybe that's the thing. Maybe they think this is like a good thing that they're doing.
Yeah.
Imagine it is that deep. No, again, okay. So this kind of further expands on the family being the most interesting part of these movies. Um, and I think this is the last time for a while where the family is super interesting. Because I feel like, well, I mean, we'll get to it when we do the 3 and 4 part. But I feel like the family in part 3 and 4 is a little less interesting than the original Sawyer's. But we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But I think I do like how this expands on that idea that it's not just Leatherface that's like the star of the show. It's it's a family. It's like a family circus, dude. It's a family performance routine.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like a family circus. Maybe that's why they are at an amusement park. We were talking earlier, like why are they at an amusement park? And it's like I don't know, honestly.
Like, how the fuck did they get there? It's crazy.
It's like a strange place for them to be, just like aesthetically and just like story wise. But I mean, it makes for a cool set piece.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of this movie prioritizes what looks cool and what looks fun rather than what makes sense, which isn't a bad way to go. I mean, I'm not. I mean, I'm a big fan of some pretty silly movies. Like I'm a big Gremlins 2 fan. So obviously I don't really give a shit what makes sense. It's just kind of what looks cool and what's really funny in the moment. So I get it. But I feel like there's a lot of that in this movie where it's like, it doesn't really make sense, but it's cool. And like Lefty getting into a chainsaw battle. He gets in like a lightsaber battle with chainsaws. They're like sword fighting with the damn things. And he goes to that chainsaw shop. I forgot the note I made. Or no, it was a joke. I don't know if I wrote it down or not. But oh, I did write it down. It was a joke. A joke I made to you where I said he walked into the chainsaw store and he did a fucking money spread. He walks and he sets down like $1,000 on the table. He starts, he starts money spreading on this random chainsaw store clerk. On top of that, he buys like 3 chainsaws. I'm like, I thought things were cheaper in the 80s. 3 chainsaws is $1,000? Damn, son. Must have been good chainsaws. Yeah, I really swings chainsaw around like a lightsaber. But I love how he comes in and immediately hits a money spread. And the chancellor isn't even like finished. He like just opened the door. He's on the phone with someone. He like, just opened the door and turned on the lights. He immediately walks in, drops $1,000 on the table, and just starts. This is random old man writing the story. He's like doing a money spread on him. Oh, I don't know why. I don't know why that makes me laugh so hard, but this, the way it was in the movie, and just, it's so stupid, but it's so funny to me. And I like how he has dual wield chainsaws.
That was cool.
He has a Kimbo chainsaws, bro. He's like doing like tricks with it. He's like shadow boxing, but with chainsaws. The fuck is this guy? And this is a cop. He owns a gun.
Oh yeah.
They're human. I don't know. Whatever. It's like he's dropping $1,000 on chainsaws when he could just shoot them. It's free. You're a cop, dude. The bullets are free. I think they just give them to you.
We wanted a fair fight or something.
Well, yeah, I wrote down it's like you have to fight fire with fire or like chainsaws with chainsaws.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
No, but like that movie looked so fun. I just don't understand why Dennis Cooper thinks that this is the worst movie he's ever done.
Oh yeah, you brought that up when we were watching. You said how Dennis Hooper hates this movie. Um, I made a note. I said Dennis Hooper as Lefty is funny as fuck, and he's great, and he's awesome
Yeah.
in this movie. So the fact that he thinks this is his worst movie, I'm like, oh, well, you don't know how to have fun, obviously. They I wrote down a quote that Drayton used uh, when he's telling Leatherface to like get over Stretch and just murder her. He kind of pulls the bros before hoes mentality on on Leatherface a little bit. He tries to work that magic. Um, he says, "Sex or the saw. Sex is well, nobody knows, but the saw is family." And I'm like, has Drayton canonically had sex? I don't think he has. He's like, no one knows what sex is. I'm like, okay.
He didn't even spell it right.
Wait, what?
He didn't even spell it right.
How do he misspelled sex?
Yes, he was like sex, SCEX. It's my favorite joke in the movie.
I didn't even I didn't even clock that joke. That's good. Dude, that again, I love how horned up this movie is, low key. It's like it kind of gets freaky sometimes. Do you think people in 1986 were like going on like date nights to this movie? And they're like, this is what'll work on the ladies. We'll take her to see Chainsaw Massacre too.
It would have been so romantic.
It's got crazy sexual energy, bro. I promise it's a good date night movie. Some dude in 1986 trying to like take his girl out. Whatever. I'm just imagining that, man. Sorry, I also put another note. I made a note that says Drayton money spreads on Lefty. Dude, the bread in this movie is insane. Everyone's flexing on everybody. Everyone's got bread in this movie. Because Drayton's like, yeah, I'm a rich I'm a, I'm a rich caterer. Who are you? Again, proves my point. Or that we were talking, we're not recording, but we were talking about how in Chainsaw Massacre, 3D, and then I guess Leatherface by extension, they talk about how the Sawyer family's like secretly rich because someone in the family like married into a rich family. And I was like, I don't think Drayton would have money and still live with his brothers. Be, I think he would live and like he would know how to spend money.
Yeah.
And this proves that he money spreads on him. He gets a little bit of like success, and he's like, yeah, bitch, I'm the man. Uh, oh god, this movie's funny. I love this movie. Listen, I love Texas Chainsaw Massacre 1. It's my favorite horror movie of all time. This is like just a really fun, good movie. Can't go wrong with it. Um, what'd you think of the grandpa being in this movie?
felt like the effects for him were a lot better for the second one. Like it was a lot more believable that he was the grandpa.
Wasn't like he looks more alive here
Yeah, he does.
because in the original he looks like a corpse.
Yeah.
Like I actually, when I first watched, I actually thought it was a corpse until he started like moving. And in this one, he just looks like a very, very, very decrepit old man. But you can still see like the life in his eyes, and you can still, he's moving clearly.
That's what I
Um,
like. The more that he eats well, then the younger he looks.
Maybe he is a Dracula. Maybe he is a vampire.
That's what I was thinking.
More fuel on the fire for the Chainsaw Massacre supernatural theory. I was trying to gaslight myself into believing it with this podcast. Um, Also, dude, okay, I've always every so often I find myself googling this because like of course I do. Like what else would I be thinking about? Is like how old is the grandpa in Chainsaw Massacre? And in this one, he's 135 years old, which is again, it's funny because he looks younger in this one than in the original. But he's like 15, 20 whatever years older. Um, but in so that makes him in the original like 120 something years old, and he's still like swinging that hammer and sucking on blood. It's weird, man. Which hold on, let me calculate some shit. Let me do some maths real quick. Let me crunch these numbers. So assuming like on the youngest side, he is like 120 in the original. So 1973 minus 120. So that means that the grandpa, according to this canon, was born in 1853.
Shit.
What the hell, man? Okay. Do the Sawyers have immortality? Also, one thing I don't know why it isn't included in. And I like how this one kind of picks and chooses what it follows and what it like brings into like what it does and doesn't retcon. Because in Chainsaw Massacre 3, which I don't want to get ahead of myself, but one thing I do like about Chainsaw Massacre 3 is the detail that Leatherface has a leg brace for his messed up leg because he cuts his leg at the end of the original. But in this one, he is walking and running just fine. And like I get like a lot of time has passed, but I feel like you would still have like substantial damage to your leg given that he cut it like about that deep with a fucking chainsaw. I don't think the Sawyers have good like medical experience, so I'm not sure how that healed up. But I think it's funny how they again they pick and choose what is kind of brought in to this one. Like Nubbins being dead is like yeah, it's canon because they have his dead body and Chop Top is there, but Leatherface's leg is fine by being cut open with a chainsaw. Um, so going back to kind of when we first meet Drayton, it's after the chili coffee when he's driving, and he gets the call, assuming from Chop Top, that it's like, oh hey, our murder got played on the radio. It's like a parent, it's like a kid telling their parent like, hey, I got in trouble, and Drayton's like, what? He tunes into the radio, like pulls out the antenna, and he hears the murder. He's like, you fucking idiots, don't do that. And so I love how Drayton still is just like, oh, these idiots, stop killing in such brutal ways. Great, it's great. And just Chop Top's whole presence. I know it's like Chop Top's a funny character. It's funny to laugh at, but his whole presence at the radio station when he's like talking to Stretch is like genuinely just disturbing.
Yeah.
Because she's closing, and he's just sitting there on the couch waiting for her, like in the darkness.
It was
And what?
it was so ominous.
Yeah, and he's like, can I make a request? Like, can you play my song? Uh, you mentioned something about the song he requested when we watched it.
He kind of said it wrong. I don't know if it's like copyright, but he said in a Vita de Gata, but it's actually in a Gata de Vita.
Oh, yeah, Chop Top, you fake fan.
It's a good song too.
That's a good detail. I mean, that's I wouldn't have caught that. I had no idea what song he was fucking talking about. I have to go look up that song. See if Chop Top has taste. And I remember I saw on like behind the scenes thing where he's showing the buttons on his vest.
Yeah.
Um, and some of my favorites were one of the buttons says "hippie with a haircut," and another one says "Don't be scared, I already ate," or I just ate, or something. I'm like, I like how he has a button that just announces he's a fucking cannibal, but no one notices. It's just funny. Yeah, it's just chop that whole scene of Chop Top is great, and that guy, I like the scene where he or just the piece of dialogue where he's talking about making a request and all that. And he's like, "Oh, I like that Lefty request record you played today," and then he like mimics the noises, and like, that's just like, just creepy. I'm like, get this guy out of here, bro. I was like, he's like slowly walking closer to her. He's just making like those weird noises to imitate the murder. And he was, oh, what was that? The Rainbow Three soundtrack? Like, I love how he's trying to extract information a little bit. He's like kind of doing a recon for the family. He's, oh, where'd you hear that from? Like, who requested that? And I'm like, that's threatening. I was like, oh, who made that request for you? Yeah, freaky. What's up? Creepy fucking guy, man. I would argue that he's creepier than Nubbins.
think so too.
It's like, just how like, man.
It really makes me wonder though, like before the head injury that he had, like, was he always this crazy?
Given who he's related to, I would assume. I figure if anything, the head injury just like made it worse. Or maybe they had to like lobotomize him a little bit. Maybe he's more relaxed than he used to be.
Shit.
Maybe this is him like dialing it back. And he used to be like a total nut job. Oh, and then uh going back to Drayton. I like how he thought every issue that was coming to him was about his business.
Yeah.
He's so focused on just his business and just his career and being a normal person that any like issue, he's like, "Are you hear about my catering business?" I said, "Bro, you kill people, bro. You murdered my family." He's like, "Is this about my food truck? You have an issue with that?" No, man. It's about the murders.
I forgot about that detail.
Oh, that dude was constantly thinking about the grind. Can't even hate on him. Dude's thinking, constantly thinking about his business. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. And I like how in the final chase scene where Chop Top is I'm getting ahead of myself on that, but before that, when Lefty stabs Leatherface in the stomach with the chainsaw, and it's like that effect of like his like stomach like pouring like the guts pouring out. That was super cool. The practical effects of this movie are fucking awesome.
Yeah, for real. I like the song that played too.
Yeah. No, oh god, this movie's fun. It's such a fun time. I need to like next time I watch it, I need to like watch it like drunk or something. I need to like have some beers in me and really like dive into it, like fully embrace the madness. Um, I like how Drayton has a grenade stashed in Nubbin's jacket
Yeah.
or in his bag. He like, reaches in his where's that grenade I had in here? I'm like, why are you just keeping that in there? They're using Nubbins as a wallet, bro, for storage. Where's that grenade? Yeah, I just can't get over how funny Drayton is in this movie. He has the grind set. He's so like he the lefty comes through and Drayton's like, yeah, who are you? And lefty's like, I'm I'm the Lord's harvest, or he says some crazy shit like that. And Drayton's like, Is that some new like health food group or like man, he thinks everything's a joke. Can't take anything seriously, bro. He's here to avenge his family, and he's like, "Are you here for my business?" Awesome, man.
And the fact that he was trying to like bribe him and stuff,
Takes out the
despite that.
money. It takes out a bunch of hundreds. Yeah. And Drayton got a little bit of money, then changed. He's always been a nah, that's not true. He's always been a driven businessman. We stand Drayton. Uh, I gotta find any more. No. Oh yeah, when I don't know if I already mentioned it, but whenever a Chop Top is chasing Stretch up the roller coaster, um, she steals the original chainsaw off of like the woman's corpse, which that's another thing they kind of I feel like they needlessly changed is they made the skeleton look different.
Oh yeah.
It was weird.
The skeleton above her was what was most scary in that movie.
Oh yeah, that whole room was freaky.
It was badass.
It was like a shrine. I mean, it was a shrine. Like,
Yeah.
you know.
It was like when Sienna in Terrifier 3, was it? Was getting the sword.
Oh yeah, they had that. Yeah, it did feel kind of like that moment where it's like this is now a sacred artifact,
Yeah.
the original chainsaw, which I thought was cool. And she rips it off of like the dead body and tries to chop it. But before that, as she's being pursued by Chop Top, she grabs like a lamp and then like jams it like at his metal plate. I was like, we're gonna get like a seizure or something. That's like what the hell? It was smart, but it was like, damn, okay. She's like, oh, this is cool. This is cool though. Also, I like how Leatherface and Chop Top are like for real like bros.
They're like this.
Yeah, they are because like after they like kill LG and kidnap Stretch, Chop Top's like, give me five, and they're like they're like broing it up after like a vicious murder. Like a break-in murder and kidnapping. They're like just dapping each other up, which is great. I'm like, that's funny. I mean, just Drayton taking the grenade out and just blowing the whole place up. And the ending where also I feel like when she kicked Chop Top down that mountain, he could have lived. The door was open. What I mean, All American Massacre. That's
Yeah.
but um and I like the ending how it's like a cool inverse of the originals ending with the chainsaw dance, but it's Stretch doing it.
Yeah.
So that was cool.
It
That's
kind of
about
reminds me of a video game.
also.
Like when she's up in the mountain and doing the chainsaw dance, it's almost like kind of like Street Fighter when they celebrate their win.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
It did feel like a celebratory win. Where like Leatherface, it was like a tantrum because he lost, but with Stretch, it did feel almost like a celebratory like she hit the emote on him, emoted on him. No, but that's really all I have to say on Chainsaw Massacre 2. I mean, did you have anything else?
Nah, my whole thoughts were just like chopped up.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, he low key steals the show. But again, it's like I want more filmmakers to realize that like it's not just Leatherface. Like you could have other unique characters that could sometimes outshine Leatherface, like Chop Top, or I mean when we get down to the remake stuff later on in another portion, like Sheriff Hoyt in the remake, he at times totally outshines Leatherface, and it's like it's okay to have that. It's okay to do that because it's such a dynamic family and they're all so interesting that when the guy who doesn't really talk and just kind of wields a chainsaw is your most interesting character, I feel like that's when you kind of have a problem because you gotta have that You gotta have that family dynamic. And I feel like the later movies, that's why they struggle a lot, is because they don't have Leatherface with his family. Um, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But until then, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, very, very good watch. Very fun. Hardly anything at all like the original, and that's okay. I like how they kind of switch it up and go more comedic and fun with it. And I'm pissed off that Dennis Hooper thinks this is his worst movie. Have some pride in your work, man. This is awesome. This was art.
Exactly.
It's a great movie. And anything else on it?
No.
No. Well, that is it for Texas Chainsaw. The first part of our Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise rewatch. We're going to be going through. We're recording all of these around the same time. There may be like a day between some of them, but we're going to be uploading these day after day after day, and hopefully with scheduling and getting the edit out. And if my computer decides not to shit out on me during the edit, which no promises, but as of right now, we're working towards having these be released every day, starting with this episode. So yeah, this is kind of like we originally wanted it to be one episode, but we did not want y'all to have to sit through what would probably end up being like a 6 hour episode. I mean, this alone, how long have we been recording, Ari?
It's been 2 hours.
Yeah, shit. This is already our long. This if I uploaded this unedited, this might be one of our longest episodes together. So, um, yeah, that would wind up being like a 6 hour video, and I don't think or a 6 hour podcast. I don't think our fans would want to sit through it for that long. I feel like we're good in small doses to them. But I don't know. Y'all let me know in the comments. But for now, you can check us out on social media for updates on the show, such as our Twitter at TalkTerraPod, our Instagram Talking Terra Podcast. You can also follow us individually on our social medias. My Twitter is at Jacob at the movie, and my Instagram is Jacob V Harper. And Ari, what are your socials?
My Twitter, my Twitter is little underscore imp with 2 E's, and then my Instagram is with a period instead of an underscore.
Hell yeah. So yeah, be sure to follow us on there, and if you're tuning in via YouTube, be sure to hit like and subscribe to the YouTube channel and leave a comment on what you thought of the episode, your thoughts on Chainsaw Massacre 1 and 2, and whatever else is on your mind regarding Chainsaw Massacre. If you agree with our opinions, let us know. If you disagree, let us know that as well. We'd love to hear from you. If you're tuning in via Spotify or Apple Podcasts, be sure to follow us on there. If you're not already, be sure to leave a rating. Ratings really help us out a lot, especially on Apple Podcasts. Always happy to get some ratings from the community over on there. So, with all that said, thank you guys so much for tuning in to this special part one of four uh, franchise breakdown, and we will see you in the next one.
Bye.
Peace.